What if your obsessive thoughts aren't irrational? They're your nervous system trying to protect you in the only way it knows how. OCD isn't about being broken, it's about being overwhelmed. And what we call obsession is often your mind's attempt to control what your body can't process. I've worked with over 1,200 clients, many of whom struggled with obsessive rumination and fear of losing control. To make sense of patterns like this, I developed the Lifelong Capacities Map, a developmental model of internal skills that can be strengthened over time. I'm Dr. Tony Weston, psychotherapist, executive coach, clinical supervisor, and award-winning researcher. If you've ever felt trapped in obsessive thoughts, wondering if you've done something wrong, or needing absolute certainty before you can relax, you're not alone. In this video we'll cover 1. What OCD and obsessive rumination are really about. 2. Why logic and reassurance don't work and what does. 3. How your psychological map might be missing internal skills that were never taught to you but can still be built. 1. Obsession as protection, not madness. Obsessive compulsive disorder isn't about being irrational, it's about being terrified. Not always visibly, not always dramatically, but deeply. Most people think OCD is about germs or hand washing, but for many people it's about rumination. Constant mental checking. What if I made a mistake? What if something terrible happens? What if I'm a bad person and I don't even know it? These thoughts feel unbearable, not because they're true, but because they're touching on something your system can't process. OCD isn't a thinking disorder. It's a capacity disorder, a signal that your internal system is trying to protect you using thought, because emotional and somatic, meaning body, somatic channels aren't fully online. 2. What you might be missing, the developmental blind spot. On this channel we talk about PsycheVita, your psychological vitality. It offers a developmental alternative to the stigmatizing and scientifically limited language of mental illness. Instead of asking what's wrong with you, PsycheVita asks what's missing and how can we grow it. We all sit somewhere on a vitality scale from 0 to 5. 0 feels like barely surviving. 3 is functional but under pressure. 5 is thriving, emotionally fluent, relationally connected, and psychologically agile. Most people experiencing OCD-like patterns aren't broken. They're often functioning at a 3 or 4 overall, but they have a sharp drop in 1 or 2 key internal capacities. That's where the Lifelong Capacities Map comes in. It's a clinically grounded model that outlines all the psychological skills needed to overcome the 160 diagnoses and over 1,000 symptoms described in the DSM-5, including OCD. The same skills required to recover are also those needed to lead, connect, and live meaningfully. And today we'll walk through the ones most commonly under strain when obsessive thoughts or compulsive behaviours take hold, not to pathologize them, but to show where development is still possible. Let me show you the most common ones. 1.2. Adaptive emotional processing. The ability to name, feel, and process emotional states. Many clients with OCD grew up in environments where emotion was dismissed, feared, or intellectualized. 8.2. Somatic Attunement. The ability to feel what's happening in the body and respond with regulation. When this is underdeveloped, distress gets stored rather than released. Thought becomes the only available coping mechanism. 10.3. Adaptive self-monitoring. The ability to observe yourself without spiraling into judgment. When these competencies are underdeveloped, the mind compensates. It builds complex cognitive strategies to keep you safe, because your body and emotions don't feel like safe places to live. And over time, that overthinking becomes obsessive, not because you're irrational, but because your nervous system is trying to survive without its full internal team. 3. Here's a case vignette about Santiago. Santiago came to therapy with obsessive thoughts about harming someone by accident. He replayed conversations, checked locks, asked his partner for reassurance again and again. He didn't need to be convinced he wasn't dangerous. He needed to feel safe in his own body and with his own emotions. He grew up in a household where emotions were mocked or shut down, so he learned to survive by figuring everything out, by thinking harder. As an adult, that strategy became the trap. His cognitive capacities were strong, but his somatic and emotional skills were underdeveloped. He'd missed out on knowing how to feel safe, and like all of us, he couldn't think his way there. He had to feel his way there. At first, reconnecting with his body scared him. He thought physical sensation might mean something was wrong. But gradually, we built safety from the inside out. And when he could identify the signal beneath the spiral, the obsession began to lose its grip. Not overnight, but consistently. 4. What you can do today and over time. 1. Don't fight the thought, name the need. Ask yourself, what part of me is trying to feel safe right now? This reframe moves you from judgment to compassion. 2. Practice somatic presence without interpretation. Sit still. Feel your breath. Feel your feet. Don't analyze, just be present. You're building the muscle that obsession has had to compensate for. 3. Map your internal blind spots. You might be high functioning, but low on internal safety. That's not a flaw, but it is something you can grow. These aren't quick fixes, they're developmental steps toward the psychological skills your system needed and still can build. 5. What OCD is trying to tell you. When we stop seeing obsessive thoughts as an error and start seeing them as a signal, shame begins to lift. You're not broken, you're adapting. What helped you survive might now be getting in the way of your growth, but that's not your fault. It just means it's time to build new internal skills and give your system an exit strategy that doesn't rely on overthinking. If this video resonated, download the free worksheet to map your own capacities. Get the book, Transform Your Life, the ultimate guide to self-mastery. Book a session with me directly via the link in the description, because symptoms are signals, and when you know how to read them, you can grow beyond them. The thought isn't the threat. The threat is the silence underneath it. And once you can feel what the thought is guarding, everything starts to shift. In the next video, we'll explore how anxiety shows up in the body and why mindfulness isn't enough unless you know how to listen.